What up? Welcome to my first Q&A. This is going to be my first non-X-Files related video, even though tons of the questions you guys asked me were about the X-Files, so it's still pretty X-Files heavy. Excuse the tea and whiskey, I'm not feeling great. There's three kinds of questions you guys asked me. General questions about myself, X-Files related questions, and exclusively Gillian related questions. No one's surprised. So we're just gonna go according to that. And yeah, so general stuff. How old am I? I will be 26 when this video comes out. How tall am I? 5'6". Are you single? Always. What do you do for a living? I am a social video producer for a television network, A&E, history, and biography. What college did you go to? What did you major in? I went to James Madison University. I double majored in digital video and theater, and I minored in British communications and media, which was just me hanging out in London for like 4 months. Do you paint your own nails? This is a question I got a lot. I do paint my own nails. It's very cathartic. When I started my new job, all of the girls painted their nails, and I wasn't gonna pay for that shit, so I kind of just taught myself how to do it. Do a hair tutorial. So even in real life, I tend to get a lot of questions about my hair. Biggest piece of advice is don't wash your hair very often at all. I don't wash my hair for 4 to 5 days at a time. There's a lot of dry shampoo that goes into that at the roots, but overall washing your hair a lot tends to make it more greasy as you're stripping all of the natural oils out of your hair and causing your scalp to build up more oil. It also makes your hair really dry, so don't do that. Do you have any tattoos or piercings? I got my nose pierced last April, and I just got this tattoo 2 weeks ago. I designed it myself. I've been wanting it since I was 18 years old. Seemed about time to get that done. Favorite band? My favorite band is The National. Got to see them live last year. Go listen to their music. I Need My Girl, so good. Favorite book? Carol Burnett's memoir, One More Time. It is so funny. It is so smart. It is so sad at times. She's an amazing woman. She has an amazing story. Favorite movie? The Hours, starring Meryl Streep, Nicole Kidman, and Julianne Moore. It is the most honest and poetic movie I think I've ever seen. It actually tackles the messy parts of human emotion and mental health and kind of the restrictions society puts on people, especially women. Myers-Briggs. I'm an ENFJ, extroverted, intuitive, feeling, and judgment. They're known as the protagonist. I really like my personality type, so that's cool. You guys should go take the personality test. I will link to it down there. And tell me what you are. Ah! What's your favorite thing about living in New York? Just living here is kind of my favorite thing. When I was really young, I never thought I would be able to live here. Thought it was just this far off dream that would never happen to me. So the mere victory of actually living here and working in my desired field is kind of surreal at times. I feel like this just looks like a giant glass of whiskey, but I swear it's mostly tea. Favorite place you've ever traveled? Hiking Machu Picchu has always been a bucket list sort of thing. And when I got a big girl job, I finally had enough money to do it. It was the most physically and mentally challenging thing I've ever done. But the views I saw there are... I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, and I don't know the next time I ever will see something as beautiful. With that said, Vancouver is a really close second. Vancouver is an amazing place. The nature there is stunning. Do you believe in ghosts? Yes. I do, even though I've never seen one, just like I believe in aliens, even though I've never seen those either. Are you a fan of Star Wars? I am a fan of Star Wars, but I didn't grow up watching it the way like true Star Wars fans did, so yes. What is your favorite and least favorite thing about doing your vlog? I loved this question. Favorite thing is getting to know all of you. Least favorite thing is editing myself. It is torturous sometimes. Really not that fun. What kind of camera and editing software do you use for your videos? I have a Sony A5000 and I use Adobe Premiere Pro. I got the Sony off of Craigslist for like 250 bucks, which is a great price and it's a great camera, so highly recommend. X-Files related question. See, that wasn't so bad. All right, what drew you to the Gillian X-Files fandom? Were you a fan of hers first, or was it the other way around? So I was actually in another fandom. I've been deeply involved in fan culture since I was about 12 years old. So I was in a fandom. The writers were writing my ship basically out of existence. I was just really unhappy with what they were doing to the characters. So I was kind of actively sussing out other shows, other ships. I think that was around the time that season 10 had just started filming, so there was a lot of press about about it. I'd always heard of the mythic lore around Mulder and Scully, and I remember thinking like, what the fuck kind of names are those? But when I actually started looking into the X-Files community and the fandom, it really drew me in very quickly. I ended up sort of finding out that it was a dual ship thing. There was Mulder and Scully, but then there was also Gillian and David, and that drew me in pretty fast. Wild times. What is the first X-Files episode that got you hooked on the show? Ice. So good, I'll review it. We'll talk about it later. Top 3 Mulder and Scully kisses. The number 1 Mulder and Scully kiss isn't actually even a Mulder and Scully kiss. It's literally just Gillian and David fucking around on the set of Fight the Future. They're not even supposed to kiss, so I don't know what their mouths are doing on each other. The biggest X-File known to man. Ah! It's so hot. It's a little uncomfortable to watch. Next best kiss, existence. I'm pretty sure that this is the first time that we see Mulder and Scully kiss without a reason. The triangle kiss wasn't really technically them. The millennium kiss is sort of prompted by the ball drop. So this is the first time I feel like they kiss just because they love each other and they have a baby. The look in their eyes before that kiss could ruin several lives. Then the next kiss would be the truth. Basically really going at it right in front of Skinner, but it definitely needs to be better lit. That kiss could have the top best kiss if there had just been a key light involved. Chris Carter. When did Mulder and Scully start hooking up? All things or earlier. In general, I'm very accepting of canon, so I'm perfectly content to say that they started hooking up in All Things, but I've read some amazing fic where they start hooking up in season 1. So, I mean, I think that these characters, even though they change, the heart of who they are Mulder and Scully, and I think that they have had chemistry from day 1. I think that at any point that you want to imagine that they started hooking up is pretty valid, but I'm happy to say that it was All Things. Do you think Scully is immortal? No. I would say yes if the canon had addressed this at all. It's the same reason why I don't really care that Scully's pregnant at the end of season 11, because if the canon's not going to address it at all, it really doesn't matter. At this point, Scully's immortality is just something that was said once. Do you ship Scully and Reyes? Yes. Oh my god. Like, Mulder and Scully are 100% primary ship, but Scully and Reyes are super gay. See the super gay birth of William. I remember the first time I watched that episode and I watched it with my roommates. All of us were looking at the TV like, what lesbian activity is happening on screen? We like make jokes about it. I don't know. They're so gay. Is Mulder and Scully your OTP? So, fun fact, I love Mulder and Scully. They are an iconic ship. They're not my one true pair. My one true pair is actually, can't believe I'm gonna tell you guys this, Scully and Stella Gibson, Gillian's other character from The Fall.
Do you think Stella and Scully would make good partners? Partners as in life partners or as in working partners? Whichever one you want. They actually might make good life partners. I haven't thought about that before. I want to see somebody doing an after dark sketch of Scully and Stella.
Gillian Anderson just shipped Stella and David.
I heard about this ship before I actually shipped it, and I was like, that is the weirdest thing in the world. What is wrong with people? And then I read this fic that totally changed my mind. It's a Mulder Scully Stella fic called When the Ink Dries. I'm gonna link it below. You guys better go read it. It's so good. It starts out with this Mulder and Scully. Stella comes in, love triangle situation. I leave that fic every time wanting Scully and Stella to be together. I don't really have words for how perfect they are together. So strong in different ways and bring these really beautiful elements to the relationship and fulfill these beautiful things within each other. And they both just deserve so much happiness that I want them to be able to give that to each other. I don't know, man. They're just like beautiful. Ah! Y'all go read the fic, it's so good. It might be my favorite piece of writing of anything I've ever read. What are your favorite tropes? For those of you who don't know, a trope is an overused plot line, and we often use them regarding fics or movies or TV shows, whatever. I guess my favorite X-Files trope would be one bed. You get to the hotel and there's only one bed. You have to share the bed. And I also really like Scully other pairings. Scully has another potential love interest or someone else is pursuing Scully. Wakes Mulder up to the fact that he should be doing something about this. Favorite episode of the X-Files. This is a good segue into Never Again. I love this episode and I'm gonna review it later. It addresses her backstory as a child. It addresses her wants as a woman. It addresses her inner struggle with the X-Files and with Mulder. Brilliant piece of writing, and I think it really develops her character in an interesting way. Do you think the series will continue without Gillian, and would that be a good thing? No and no. Talk about the David and Gillian drama. Why are they saying what they're saying? So this is a thing that I'm not really addressing anywhere in my private messages or on Twitter, and especially not on YouTube. I'll speculate on a lot of things, but not on this. Is the X-Files your all-time favorite show? What other shows do you really like? So the X-Files isn't my all-time favorite show. My all-time favorite show is Gillian's BBC show, The Fall. It is, I could talk about The Fall forever, but I also love Bates Motel. Vera Farmiga is brilliant. I love her. Veep with Julia Louis-Dreyfus. 30 Rock I always come back to. The Golden Girls. Grace and Frankie is intensely underrated. There's a theme here. Strong women. But I also love shows like Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, Game of Thrones, and Rick and Morty. Very eclectic tastes. And now we're on to the Gillian related questions. Do your real life friends like Gillian as much as you do? Hell no, they don't. They don't give a fuck about her. They think my interest in her is confusing, insane, but very endearing. I have very good friends. Anyone who's known me for a very long time kind of just knows that I'm like this. I'm very obsessive and I tend to zero in on, again, these very strong women. So this was bound to happen. Have you ever met Gillian? What was it like? Yes, I have. I met her at Wizard World in 2016. On that note, I think it's really important to go into meetings with celebrities with appropriate expectations. It's really important to be respectful and to have something definitive and short to say. Or if you're doing a photo op, be prepared to get in and get out. So Gillian was really lovely. I said my thing. She laughed. We exchanged a few words, and really that was it. That was perfectly fine. On the flip side, even though it's not really the flip side, I met another idol of mine, Vera Farmiga, at San Diego Comic-Con because I work for A&E. So I was with her for about 7 hours, surrounded by a bunch of other people. I came completely prepared, something brief to say to her. I saw an opening, a total lull in everything that was happening around us. I approached her. I said the thing. I was prepared for that to be the end of it, but we ended up having the most lovely, wonderful conversation ever. It's like a dream come true, but you can't expect that to happen because these people are just people too, and they're tackling the day as best they can. So those of you going to cons this year, go prepared. Is Gillian straight? She's pretty much said that she's not, so I think that's really all there is to say about it. That being said, I would give up a kidney to see Gillian date a woman publicly. Do you prefer Gillian's British or American accent? British all the way. I think her British accent was actually the nail in the coffin. I'm complete trash for a British accent. Favorite character Gillian has ever played? This is a weird question because my favorite character of all time is Stella Gibson from The Fall. I will never be able to properly express what that character did for me. That being said, my favorite character portrayal Gillian has ever done is Blanche in A Streetcar Named Desire. That overall performance actually unreal. Speaking of which scenes from Streetcar make you the most emotional / always make you cry? Every scene. I have to go with the pink dress scene near the end, which is like an obvious choice, but there's a reason it's an obvious choice. It really comes down to the monologue that Blanche gives about inner beauty.
Physical beauty is passing. It is a transitory position. The beauty of the mind and richness of the spirit and tenderness of the heart. And I have all those things all taken away, but they increase with the years.
It was relevant then, it's relevant now. Unfortunately, it'll probably be relevant 50 years from now. At this point in the play, her delivering those words, this beautiful, heartbreaking truth of the play. And when I saw it in Brooklyn, they made an adjustment to Stanley's wardrobe where his pajama top was tied around his shoulders like a cape. He looked like a little boy and she looks like a little girl playing dress up for a princess. You know, the fact that he rapes her while they are wearing these very childish stylish looking costumes, I think just reinforces and supports the major theme behind how we teach our children to behave, how we teach men to drive women into submission, and how we teach women to doll themselves up. It's just so good. Finally, our last question is a fuck, marry, kill between Gillian, Blanche, and Stella Gibson from The Fall. It's a tough one. These are three of my favorite things in the whole wide world. I have to say fuck Stella. In the eloquent words of Gillian Anderson, she's just so fuckable. Marry Gillian because duh. And unfortunately, I have to kill Blanche. That's the way it has to be. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. Always love hearing from you. You guys are the best. Let me know if I'm gonna see any of you in Montreal. Go check out other videos, subscribe. Sorry this was so awkward.